muffled screams. That's all Luke Skywalker heard. They came from everywhere and nowhere. Echoes in his mind. Fragments of pain rippling through the Force. The ghosts of Yavin. The cries of those lost when the Death Star fired. The anguish of millions silenced in an instant. He shot up, gasping, his vision spinning. Then he remembered. Thrawn, Vader, the truth. I am your father. The words still burned in his skull like a searing blade. His whole world, his identity, his purpose, his hope had shattered in one breath. The storm of emotions inside him was like nothing Yoda had ever prepared him for. He felt sick, betrayed, empty. Then, Luke! A hand gripped his shoulder, dragging him back into the chaos. Han Solo was shouting over the thunder of blaster fire. Snap out of it, kid! We've gotta move! The Death Star shook violently. Sirens screamed through the corridors. Somewhere deeper within the station, the self-destruct chain had begun. The result of Han and Chewie's quick improvisation, while everyone else was locked on Luke. The team was sprinting toward the hangar, fire and smoke filling the air. Leia was already waving them forward, her blaster flashing as she cleared the way. But Luke wasn't running. Not yet. He glanced back. The hallway behind him glowed crimson. Vader's silhouette was there, striding through the smoke. Unstoppable. Relentless. Luke knew. He couldn't let them all die. They burst onto the landing platform. The stolen shuttle was waiting, engines roaring. "Come on, Luke!" Leia shouted, waving him in. But he didn't move. He stood in the doorway, back turned to them, watching the corridor behind. Leia's heart dropped as she realized what he was doing. "No," she whispered, shaking her head. "Luke, don't!" He turned to her and smiled. A small, broken smile. The kind that said he already knew his fate. "May the Force be with you," he said softly. Then he thrust out his hand. The Force exploded from him in a violent wave, slamming the shuttle door shut and throwing the craft backward into launch position. Leia's cry was the last thing he heard as the ship blasted away from the hangar. Luke turned, alone now, facing two shadows. Thrawn stood calmly at Vader's side, his white uniform immaculate even in the chaos. "Lord Vader," he said evenly, "we must leave. The reactor is unstable." But Vader didn't move. His gaze was locked on Luke. "This ends here," Luke said, igniting his saber. "Indeed," Thrawn murmured, and stepped back. He was no fool. He understood the calculus of survival. With one final look at the two Skywalkers, father and son, he turned and strode toward his personal escape shuttle. Vader, however, remained. The duel began. Luke attacked first. His strikes were wild, desperate, but powerful. The Force roared around him. Fear, anger, sorrow, all intertwined. Vader deflected each blow with effortless precision. "You cannot win," the Dark Lord said, his tone almost regretful. "I don't need to," Luke spat. "I just need to keep you here." Their sabers locked, sparks raining between them. The heat of the blades reflected in Luke's furious eyes. Vader pushed back, his strength monstrous. "You are strong, my son. but you fight without focus. "I fight for them," Luke shouted, breaking the lock and swinging with a surge of fury. "For everyone you've murdered." "Enough," Vader's voice boomed, shaking the chamber. "You cannot change what you are." Luke's blade whirled, cutting through machinery and leaving trails of molten metal. "And what's that?" he yelled. Vader's answer came like thunder. "My blood." The duel intensified. Every strike was a conversation, every parry a wound reopened. Luke's body ached, his breath ragged, but he refused to stop. If he could just delay Vader long enough, the others might escape. Then, a massive explosion rocked the platform. A section of the floor gave way. Luke staggered, and in that instant, Vader struck. The blow wasn't meant to kill. The hilt of Vader's saber slammed into Luke's temple. Darkness swallowed him whole. When Luke awoke, he wasn't standing. He was lying across the cold metal floor of a shuttle. The walls trembled around him. He looked through the viewport just in time to see the Death Star. The Rebellion's flagships streaked away at full speed, Leia's shuttle safely in tow. Behind them, the space station shuddered, light pouring from its seams like cracks in a dying sun. The super laser core detonated, and the Death Star, that colossal symbol of Imperial might, imploded. The light consumed everything. Through the Force, Luke felt the cries of thousands vanish in an instant. Imperial officers, troopers, pilots, all erased. Leia's voice echoed faintly, screaming his name through the void before vanishing into hyperspace. The galaxy went silent. Vader stood beside him in the cockpit, unmoving, watching the inferno. The reflection of the explosion burned in his mask. For the first time in years, he felt nothing, only loss. Weeks passed. Vader's shuttle disappeared from Imperial scanners. Thrawn presumed him dead. The Emperor, though displeased, focused his fury on rebuilding. Project Necromancer still demanded his full attention. But Vader lived, far beyond known space, on a desolate, mist-covered world. He kept his son prisoner. Luke woke each day chained, his body weak, his mind tormented. Vader would come, sometimes in silence, sometimes in fury. "You have potential beyond measure," he would say. "You could rule the galaxy." "I won't become what you are," Luke would spit back, and the cycle would repeat. Hours of silence, followed by lectures, by duels meant not to train, but to break. Yet what truly broke Luke was not pain, it was isolation. Then, one day, Vader changed his tone. His voice softened, almost calm. "If you will not join me," he said, "perhaps your sister will." The world stopped. Luke's heart froze. "How do you—" "The Force has revealed her to me," Vader said darkly. "She is strong, perhaps stronger than you. If you will not stand beside me, she will take your place." Luke screamed. It wasn't a sound of defiance, but of pure, uncontrolled rage. The darkness that Vader had been nurturing finally took hold. Months later, a new figure appeared on the galactic stage. a masked warrior known only as Marek. He struck Imperial outposts with brutal precision. Wielding a crimson saber, the rebellion, desperate, believed he was a savior, a rogue freedom fighter waging war in their name. Leia felt something familiar about him, but she couldn't see past the mask. In truth, Marek was Luke Skywalker, reshaped by Vader's manipulation and blinded by rage. Every mission, every battle, pushed him deeper into the darkness, and Vader watched with pride as his apprentice, his son, brought entire sectors to their knees. But the galaxy never stood still. Grand Admiral Thrawn, ever the tactician, began to suspect. He studied Marek's movements, fighting patterns, the unmistakable precision in his piloting, and he knew. He brought his findings before the Emperor. "Vader has turned the boy," Thrawn said coolly. "They move together. Soon they will come for you." Palpatine's grin was cold. Then let them. The trap was elegant. Thrawn's flagship, the Executor, had been refitted as a lure. Its command bridge designed to appeal to Vader's pride. Rumours spread of Thrawn's growing influence, of how he had taken Vader's title and authority. Vader took the bait. He and Marek tore through Imperial defences, cutting a bloody path to the bridge. The Force trembled with their fury. But when the blast doors opened, the sight that met them froze them in place. At the far end of the bridge, the Emperor sat in his throne, his eyes gleaming with malice. Thrawn stood at his side, calm and composed, and kneeling before them, bruised, gagged and beaten, were Leia, Han, Chewbacca and Captain Rex. Luke's breath caught. "Leia." Thrawn stepped forward. "Remove your mask, Marek. There is no more need for games." Luke hesitated, but when his eyes met Leia's, filled with recognition and pain, he obeyed. The mask hit the floor with a metallic clang. Palpatine's smile widened. "Ah, the prodigal son returns." Vader tensed. He could feel Luke's heart breaking, his light struggling to breathe beneath the suffocating darkness. "Now," the Emperor hissed, "strike down your father. Take his place at my side. Do this, and your friends will live." Luke's saber trembled in his hands. "I won't." Thrawn sighed quietly. "Then, my boy, look to your right." Luke turned. A wall panel slid open, and the lifeless body of Ahsoka Tano fell forward, collapsing at his feet. Time stopped. Luke dropped to his knees, his voice cracking as he reached for her. "No, no, no, no!" When he looked up, Rex and Han were shot where they knelt. The galaxy broke. Luke screamed, a sound that tore through the Force itself. Power surged outward in a shockwave, so violent it shattered glass across the entire bridge. Thrawn and the Emperor were thrown backward. Leia and Chewbacca's restraints snapped. Chewbacca, roaring in pure Wookiee rage, lunged for Thrawn and tore him apart limb by limb. Luke turned to the Emperor, his rage ignited into something primal, cosmic. Lightning erupted from his fingertips, not red, Not blue, but white. Pure, burning fury. The Emperor's scream echoed through the bridge as the light consumed him. When the glow faded, nothing remained but ashes. Luke stood trembling, surrounded by fire and death. When he turned, Vader was gone. Leia approached slowly, her voice trembling. "Luke, please, come with me. Come home." He looked at her, haunted, broken, eyes glowing faintly from the power still coursing through him. "I can't," he whispered. "Not like this. I have to find balance again, before I lose everything." He turned away, staring out the viewport at the stars beyond. "I'm going back to Dagobah. I need to learn control." And with that, he walked into the shadows, leaving behind the ashes of the Empire, the ruin of legend, and the faint, dying echo of the Skywalker name. Thanks for watching this video with me. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel grow. Comment below which theories you would like explored, and I will choose one for my next series. Thanks for watching.